What is up, everyone? Hope all's going well for you. Welcome back to Get Jacked. Now, today we're continuing off here on the official server. Now, as you can see, I'm sick already. I'm always sick. We've got a decent amount of people in the tribe now, and we're just like always sick because someone gets infected by a dodo somewhere along the way, and it just, yeah, you know how it is. It's just too costly to have to go through and fix this sickness all the time. So, what we're doing today is, well, I'm unlocking this. Why do you need metal water reservoir for? Okay. Don't question it, just do it. So today we're doing a little bit of a Q&A. So I'm building up this spray paint gun because I figured this would be something interesting to do along the way. In the last two videos, I've kind of asked people if you have any questions, just post in the comments. And so many people have asked me questions that I can't include all of them, obviously. Dang it. I'm actually gonna have to grab some stuff for this. Let me build this thing up. But basically, we're gonna go through. We're gonna do some base maintenance. We're gonna take care of the babies, which we have a lot of babies going right now. We've got a lot of Rexes that we need to do for like the bosses. We've got Quetzals and we've got a whole bunch of stuff. So it's probably better if I stick around the base and do this stuff. We're gonna make turret ammo. We'll fill up some of the turrets and stuff, and then we'll also. I plan to paint this entire base. I think it'd be pretty funny. But the main focus is I'm gonna be answering your questions that I've pulled from the last two videos. I think it'll be pretty fun. The last Q&A that I did was actually a long time ago, but people really seem to like it. So if you like it, definitely let me know, and I can definitely keep doing these in the future. So anyway, I'm just gonna continue to craft this. We'll make up some dye. Actually, I want to make some shadow steak sautés because they're super good for sniping. So I wanted to get those crafted up because we've got like a really high amount of cooked prime meat right now, and that's what they mainly need to make. So I'm gonna make up the dye that we're gonna need for this, and I'm gonna make up the shadow steaks here as well. So basically, we're just gonna kind of go over some stuff in the background, and let's get into the first couple of questions here. So the first one is, and you've probably seen this in a lot of my videos, but it's Iran McGovern asks, why don't you put all the land dinos floating in the water when you're breeding? They eat less food in the water when they float, and that's definitely true. It's been something like a glitch that's been going on for a long time, that when they're floating in water, they don't consume food as quickly. And the problem that we've run into is, well, some people were sniping them, so that was a problem in itself. But then we were gonna cover them, and it actually turned out that a few of them drowned. For some reason, we went back, 2 of them died all of a sudden. They were full of meat. We checked on them, and the third one that we had in the water was actually drowning as well. So it's something that hasn't happened every time, but we've noticed that sometimes, every once in a while, one of them will drown or something. We don't know if it's something that's changed with it, but we're not taking any risks right now. We probably will throw them in there once we've got a full group of Rexes, but right now Rexes are way too we're trying to get them, and it's like we can't risk them drowning, so it's too risky for us to put them in the water now. Later on we can just throw them in. If they die, they die, you know. So regardless, let's get into the second one here. Alright, and so this one comes from CrowGuy12, and he asks, do you pre-record episodes like a day before, or do you record, edit, and post all in one day? And usually you're seeing in the video almost 3 hours in the past. Like, you're only seeing it 3 hours after I filmed it, because I usually film some at night before I go to bed, and then I go to bed, I wake up, do most of the filming, the editing, and everything all during that day, and then I usually shoot to release the video around 6. If I can. The problem with that system is if I get attacked, say at noon, when I'm finishing up a recording on something completely different, I have to wait till the attack's over, fight it off, and then get the video out. That's why some of them come out really late, is because you're actually seeing things almost right after they happen. There's almost no delay at all. Sometimes there is a little bit of a delay if I've, say for the raid footage, I do kind of delay those a bit because I was able to do 3 raids in one day, and then I put those out 3 days, and then was able to kind of build up and do a lot of things for the next video. And sometimes it really makes it difficult, but honestly guys, most of the time I'm grinding things. So when I record something, it's like the one fun thing in the day. So some people ask me like, why do you only show all this PvE stuff? Well, it's because I just, you know, made bullets for 10 hours in the day, like seriously, and I'm like, okay, I want to go out and like tame something fun and actually do something interesting, and then that's what I record, so that you don't see the boring stuff, but I'm still doing all that PvP stuff. It's just kind of like, you know, we've been there, done that in the videos. I'm trying to do things that are interesting. So anyway, next question is from Primitive Sponge, and he asks, how many raiders were trying to invade your server and how did you defend? I know invasions are a big problem on official, and I'm assuming he's referring to the last one, that kind of little war that we had and stuff. They came with quite a few people. It was probably a 12 to 15 person raid, and the thing is we just basically just fought until like they took down the actual like the generator in the building that they were attacking, and we just had to keep fighting and fighting until we could finally push them out. It was probably, it's not, that's the problem, is you can never expect these things to be, you know, 2 hours and give up. You fight for, you know, 10, it was probably a 10-hour fight, and it's like you fight for 10, 11 hours, maybe even 20 hours in a row. You just don't go to sleep. There are points where I just like don't go to sleep because I just have to do something, you know. And that's kind of how official works. It's like it's whoever can stand the longest, you know, whoever can keep fighting the longest until the other person has to like go to work or eat or sleep, or maybe like, I don't know, you know, after a certain point people actually have real life things to do, and that's kind of how you fight off those, is you just have to keep fighting until like the other person just has to wait until the next week, you know, and that's kind of how those work. So yeah, it was a pretty big group of people, but you know, with perseverance you just have to just continue to fight basically. Just don't give up when you start losing dinos. Alright, and then the next one's going to be from Coco Tiger 23, and they ask, why do you only do ARK videos? And kind of the reason behind that is, one, because that's usually what the community wants. I usually post maybe 1 or 2 videos in a series, and if people don't seem to like it that much, I just don't continue it, because this channel is pretty much, you know, whatever you guys want to watch, and if that's always ARK stuff, it's always ARK stuff, and that's what I'm going to post, because, you know, basically you guys are, you know, paying for the channel by watching and doing that, so I'm going to give you exactly what it is that you want. So I know some people don't even like the PvE stuff, so I cut that back just a little bit, but there were enough people to keep that going. It all depends on the views, so it depends on how many people watch and like the series. Like, I don't like to keep it up to me, I like to keep it up to you guys, because this channel is what you guys watch, and you know, basically that's how I like to keep the mentality around it. So I actually spend almost all my time grinding on official anyway. I don't really have time to play very many video games other than ARK, because I'm always here and I need to be here for all my tribe mates if they ever need anything and whatnot. So I keep the ARK stuff to high priority, and nothing else really ever can fit in there. And actually this one here is something that I get a lot too. Michael asks, how do you find a ORP official server? So on PC there are, I believe, 8 or so of them. And basically, if you just go to the official tab on the ARK, like when you are searching for an official, like any server, basically just go to the official tab, type offline raid. Just type that, no space, and all of them will come up. You'll see all of them in the list. So you can just join any of those. They all have official raids, same thing. They're all in cluster with one another, and basically a lot of people ask how to find those because everyone seems to like that game mode, especially. The thing is that I started in this when I was a solo player, and that's why I started in, because I wanted to record, I wanted to do good videos and not be attacked offline, because if I'm online I can at least defend and put on a show, have a good time, and put my stuff that I worked for to use as a solo player. Now that I'm a bigger tribe, I wish I was on, you know, a more normal official server, and we will move to that, but as a solo player, it's so nice, and it's very nice for smaller people who don't have all the time to do it, so definitely check it out. So anyway, we'll move on to the next one here. And this one comes from Jaylene Gardner, and they ask, how do you get over long wait times for taming and stuff? So basically, it's a lot nicer now, I'll tell you that, now that we've got kibble dinos and we can actually kibble tame things. But early game, just like taming a Parasaur, taming an Anki and Deode and stuff, and oh my god, the teams are horrible. Some of them up into, you know, 10 hours or something crazy. And basically what I do during those is I would I watch a lot of YouTube videos, really. What else are you gonna do? I think that's why YouTube is such a big thing for ARK people. Is just like, what do you do when you're waiting for 10 hours? You watch YouTube videos on other people doing the same thing, and I'm no different. I usually do that as well. Otherwise, I also, I don't know, reply to comments. That's why I'm active in the comment section. Usually I try and reply to things if they're important or something. I don't block that kind of stuff out, even if it's bad. I still like to talk to people about it, but anyway, I'm active because I'm sitting there taming an Anki for like 6 hours. I'm like, well, I guess I could read through the comments for a while, and it's like, I think it's nice. I think it gives me some off time to actually do stuff. Even sometimes I'll go like do the dishes or something crazy like that. But anyway, let's go on to the next one, which is actually oddly specific from, I'm gonna go with Ludicrous, and it says, hey Jack, which do you think is better, Dire Bear or Thylacoleo? And that's an interesting comparison considering they're both completely for different roles, I feel like, but I would definitely go with the Thylacoleo, unless I really needed fiber. If I needed fiber, then I'd definitely go with the Dire Bear, but the Thylacoleo has definitely become one of my favorite just PvP-ish dinosaurs, because, I don't know, it's just really cool to transfer over, mess around with, and it's way faster than most flyers. So I don't know, I like the Thylacoleo a lot. I probably would say I don't use the Dire Bear very much anymore now that we have a Therizino to get fiber, but I mean, yeah, the Dire Bear's there. It's cool. It was definitely one of my favorite dinos until they really, well, not dinos, but creatures, until they released a lot of other cool ones. But I think it's definitely a cool one to have around. Alright, and then Jake Ludwigson asks, what would you say during an overpowering raid? I just got raided on one of these servers I play on, and they had too much stuff for us to win. They had 3 Rock Elementals, 6 Brontos, and we didn't have time to transfer our Gigas and Brontos, so we ended up staying and knocking out people when they came to our base. But at the end, we lost all and got caged. Would you say that we should have just left the base and taken our items and left? Now, basically with that, I gotta say, I think the best thing that you can do is to just fight for as long as you possibly can. I mean, obviously, if they're attacking you with something that's way stronger than you can possibly, hold up against, I don't know. I don't know if it's very important for you to actually take things. I've never just taken things and run from my base or something, because that's all the stuff that you put all that time, you put all that effort into that base, and it's like, I see so many people's attitude is like, oh, my base is being raided, or I've been started to be, once the generator's down or something, it's over, like, I give up. And it's like, I don't know about you, but I built my base for like 6 months, and if someone's inside of it, I'm gonna be fighting them every second I could possibly die. I'll be up for 10 hours fighting them, because the thing is you put all that time, all that effort into this one moment, for that time where you get to defend all of your property and everything you have, and that's the fun of it. Like, stop them from trying to get in. Like you said, you were running around with clubs and stuff, and it's like, just continue to run around with clubs until, I mean, if you find that boring, I don't know, I don't find that boring. I could keep trying to snipe and kill people for as long as possible, just to have some fun with it, because that's what this game's about. It's about having fun, and if you spend all that time building a base, don't run away. Just fight and have fun with it. I don't care how big they are. You're never gonna have more fun transferring all your stuff to another server and setting up, because you're just gonna wish you had what you had before. And just defend it to the end and have a good time doing it, and then find someone to help you rebuild. Alright, so moving on to the next one. It comes from Joshua Cerna, and he asks, do you plan to be alpha eventually on your ARK series? And that's a question that I never like to answer to anyone, not even because it's bringing attention to yourself or anything, but I feel like ARK is a different game than it initially was. When it first came out, you wanted to be the biggest alpha tribe on the server, because that was the goal. That was the big end game, was to be the biggest tribe and to be able to do whatever you wanted. But now that they've added tech tier and all this other stuff into the game, I feel like the big goal, or not even my big goal at all, is to be alpha. I don't want to be the biggest tribe. I want to actually do all the stuff that ARK has. I want to be able to build an underwater tech base. I want to be able to do, you know, like build all, they're coming out with tech turrets and like all this other cool stuff. And it's like, nobody is ever gonna get to that point if we're all fighting each other, you know, at all points of every day. Especially like when you get into like a bigger tribe, it's either war or, you know, it used to be war or you just had nothing to do. Now you have tech, you have like all this other stuff that you can do, and I feel like being an alpha isn't the biggest thing. That's why you see so many big, huge alpha alliances, like 5 or 6 tribes being alpha, and that's because more people want to actually play that endgame stuff, and you can't play that endgame stuff if everybody kills each other in the stone to early metal tier. If everybody's in the late metal tier and can defend themselves, it's just more incentive to go out and actually have fun and do tech and fight the bosses and stuff, which I feel people don't care about because they're too worried about becoming alpha. And it's like, just enjoy the game. If you want to be alpha, but if you don't, just like work as hard as you can just to get there and try and experience the game. I don't know. Alright, and this one's from Grins Fins, and he asks, why do you upload your videos at such sporadic times, like in the middle of the night? Yeah, it's in the middle of the night for me too sometimes, but like I said, I film, record, edit, do all that in the same day, and then get it out as soon as possible. If I get done with a video at 8 o'clock at night for me, I'm releasing it at 8 o'clock at night. I like having a schedule, I like being able to do it, I don't know, at a certain time, but I would rather, if it's done, have it out, because I know there's people that want, or, you know, that are waiting for the video, so I don't feel like I should hold it out and wait until the next day. It's just like, it's done, get it out. Okay, we're done. Now let's move on to the next one. Alright, this one comes from someone who is actually one of my tribe mates, and it's Karma asking, who is your favorite tribe member? And I'm not going to answer that. Next one. That being from The Goat Rush. How do you manage to take care of all those babies without them dying and go out and make videos and go raid people? And the answer is, we don't do that at all. Most of our babies do die. Or not most of them, but a lot of them do. We'll hatch like 10 pteranodons and like 5 or 6 will survive, and you know, that just seems to work out best for us. We always think that we can do a little bit more than we can, fill all the fridges, and then, you know, overnight 1 or 2 of them die. But I think that's kind of the way to go. You just raise a ton of them, and the best ones, I guess, survive. I don't know, we'll just go with that. Alright, and Aussie Gaming asks, how long do you expect this series to carry on for? And that's always something that people have asked, and it's like, it's never been like right for me to answer that question. I try not to raid too much so we don't get too much attention and piss off too many people, so that we can actually continue and make this a really long series, because as much as I like the early game PvP and stuff, I want this to just go as long as possible. You can't just give up and be like, oh, we're good. I won't give up until I've got tech everything, at least on this server. Yeah, we might go out and do series on other things and maybe, you know, make the videos on here in the future, maybe more sporadic once I start like a second series on normal official or something, or on another official server. And it's like, it all depends on what happens. It's hard to answer that, but for now, I like what we're doing, and I really want to progress into that end game where I never get to see what happens there. I want to get there legit and see how it is. Alright, I actually really appreciated this one going through. We got Study Studios asked, just how's life? And for me, life's good. Life's pretty much always good for me. I try to keep as positive of an outlook on it as I possibly can in any situation. Yeah, sometimes it gets frustrating, and I don't know, sometimes you just have to deal with it, really. That's just kind of the way that it is, but life's going good, and basically I've just been really stretched on time because we finished our move recently, and we're still unpacking, setting things up, so that's been the biggest stressful thing. But I don't know. Well, I try and still get things out as close to on time as possible, but everything's going well. Thanks. Alright, and the next one's coming from Math A Hugh Smithers HD. What is the best PvP flyer post flyer nerf? Maybe Battle Quets? Exactly, Battle Quets. That's what I would say. Wyverns are good, but for PvP, not really that good. The Battle Quets can stay in the air for so long. With a minigun and other things, like the HP on them just seems to be really good. I've been hit by a lot of rockets on a Quetzal, and usually it takes quite a few people to actually get you down. As long as you have backup, if you're not alone on a Quetzal, you could pretty much withstand like any siege or anything like that, as long as you got people flying around in pteranodons, maybe protecting you with a sniper rifle or something. But other than that, I think it definitely is going to be your best bet to go for PvP flyer. Alright, and this one comes from Royal Guardian. Jack, what happened with Queen Anne's Revenge, the Moza? Is it still stuck? Now, that's a really good Moza that got glitched under the world by a squid. After, I would say, 5-6 days, I went back. It was still under the ground, but I was able to whistle and it just followed me out. So yeah, we've got it back safe at base. I know I mentioned it in one of the videos, but I know I get this question a lot because a lot of people didn't see that. So anyway, that is nice and safe back at base, and we can continue to breed our Moza army, hopefully for some kind of underwater boss. They're coming out with like 60-70k HP after levels, of course. Alright, and the next one's coming from HE Gaming, and they ask, how long have you been doing YouTube? And basically, it's been about a year and a half. I started in September of not last year, but the year before that, so about a year and a half. And we've come a really, really far way in that amount of time. And I can tell you, at the beginning, I was way worse than I am now. So if you want to see some really bad content, go check that out, and then try and make fun of me for this stuff. Alright, so the next one comes from Ben GF, and they ask, how did you find ARK, and what made you want to play it? So basically, I was really into survival games. I actually played Reign of Kings when that was a thing. I played DayZ for a really long time until Reign of Kings came out, and then I played Reign of Kings for a really long time, because that was like the Rust or ARK of that time, before any of those games even existed. And then when Reign of Kings started to die down a little bit, then ARK came out, and I played that day one until now, because I basically logged into ARK, and it was the most horribly optimized game I'd ever played. But it was still more fun than Reign of Kings because the community was horrible. It just didn't have enough stuff, and basically that game died out, and all that community went into Rust and ARK and stuff like that. So I'm glad I made the move right away, but I've been playing it since the beginning, like basically right when it came out. I heard about it just from people talking about it, actually I think in the Reign of Kings like forums or something. Alright, and then this one comes from Tom Harper, and he asks, what other games do you play? And basically, the only other thing that I'll play a little bit of when I'm just taking a little break from ARK is PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. I really like that game. Reminds me a lot of DayZ. And then the other one I'll play is Overwatch. I like Overwatch too. That's just a nice one to casually play. Sometimes I'll jump into like Skyrim or Witcher, but very, very seldom do I do that. Alright, then this next one is a little bit more personal. ARK fan Argentavis asks, hey Jack, how are you and your girlfriend doing in your new home? By the way, oh, that's not part of the question. I'm not going to include that, but thank you. Anyway, in the new place, we're loving it. We moved to Denver from Colorado Springs. We really love the area. It's so cool. The spot is really cool. Basically, I'm still moving stuff from the area down here, so it's a little bit stressful, but we're trying to get it all done here in the next week, and then we should be all fully moved in. But we're kind of paying for both places at the current time so that we can move things slowly. But we've got a lot of stuff. We've got a lot of stuff. I'm gonna do a vlog and whatever on that once I leave that place and get all set up here and can actually show you what's going on. Right now it's just a mess, but I will do the next kind of vlog type deal. That'll be kind of our focus for that and stuff. So next one comes from Omar, who asks, can you do more top 5s, like the top 5 most useful creatures in ARK that you once did? And yes, that's definitely something that I'm working on. The problem with those was there were so many different creatures and stuff coming out that I released those, and now people are like, why don't you add the Therizinosaurus and stuff like that? And it's like, it's hard to do that for alpha because the game keeps changing. They're only the top 5 most useful for maybe a month, and then after that it's kind of misleading. So now that they're kind of set on the dinosaurs and stuff, I really want to start including them and making it more useful to everybody. So anyway, that's where we're going to stop for the questions. There is one that I also got a lot, and that is what am I going to do when we get wiped? I mean, it's always something that's going to happen. At some point, you got to expect it to happen. And at that point, we will start over. I want to start over on a new official server, full cluster, and all that stuff. And I think it should be really cool. I think it'll be really cool to actually start over new when that happens. But we're gonna fight and try and keep this going as long as possible, regardless of how tedious it can sometimes get. But anyway, that is where we're going to stop for today. I hope you like this format of video. I like doing the Q&As because it gives me a chance to interact with all of you in a way that I'm not usually able to. Another question that I got a lot was when I'll be streaming more. I'll be streaming a lot more soon. I'm still getting things moved in and set up, and the sound quality and everything just still isn't where I want it. But we will be doing that soon, and I hope you are patient with that. It'll be just a few weeks and we should be all set. I really like where we're set up on the official server now, to where I can stream and I can do all that and have a good time and just kind of hang out with all of you and streaming and stuff. So I'm really looking forward to that. Definitely look for that in the future. I'll definitely let you know on Twitter and everything. So that's where we're going to stop for today. If you like this video, definitely hit that thumbs up and or subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You all have a great rest of your day, and of course, we'll catch you next time.